Today we're diving into a top 10 list from the Warren Museum.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
A magical place where history, mystery, and bad gift shop choices collide. And yes, apparently, if it's creepy enough, it gets a glass case. My favorite part? The fact they somehow forgot to display the scariest item of all. The receipt book.
I love to dive around in it like a porpoise.
Buongiorno, dear patrons, fantastic amici and amiche, and welcome back to my little restaurant of reason. Today's specials is a full course meal straight from the Warren Museum's menu. Yes, the same Warren Museums that has been at the center of all sorts of discussions over the past couple of months. And since I'm an Italian with an healthy dose of curiosity and a spoon big enough to stir the pot, I thought it was time to add my own seasoning to the story. Now, the Warrens called it an occult museum. I call it the Museum of Majestic Nonsense. No offense. Well, maybe just a little, but all in good fun, of course. So, let's watch this top 10 together, step by step, and see if we can separate the supernatural from the super silly.
It's gonna be a shit show!
Hot mama!
Starting us off at number 10, the toy monkey.
Ah, yes, the toy monkey, the cornerstone of paranormal research. Forget Annabelle or demonic idols. The real threat to humanity is a wind-up primate with symbols.
So it goes without saying that almost everything that is a notable part of the Conjuring series is also a real artifact.
Right, because Hollywood is known for a strict historical accuracy. Next, you'll tell me Fast and Furious is based on real police reports
that the Warrens found along the way. One of these such artifacts, who made an appearance in both The Conjuring and the spin-off Annabelle Comes Home.
So, it's basically a horror movie extra. I guess the demon inside was working for scale.
Is the toy monkey. However, if it wasn't already obvious, it's not something to be played with.
I mean, it's literally a toy. The one thing it's designed for is being played with. But sure, let's all be afraid of the evil clapping monkey instead of, say, bad electrical wiring.
As Ed tells the reporters in the Conjuring movie, everything you see here is either haunted, cursed, or been used in some kind of ritualistic practice. Nothing is a toy.
Translation: everything here is part of the sale pitch, including the gift shop magnets.
I'm gonna buy some crap. I've got money burning in my pocket. I'm a tourist at a museum. Look at all these gemstones.
So what exactly makes this monkey so scary in real life? Well, allegedly, it is possessed by a terrifying demon who enjoys stalking its victims before eventually killing them.
A stalking, murdering demon trapped in a tin monkey that can move without batteries. Yes, officer, it followed me home very slowly.
Watch out! Watch out! So, yeah, not a very nice monkey it seems.
No kidding, it's almost like it doesn't even peel bananas for you. Well, truth of the matter is, I couldn't find a single piece of credible documentation proving that this object is cursed, or even that it exists outside the Conjuring cinematic universe. In other words, our evil toy monkey is less of a terrifying haunted relics and more of an Hollywood prop with a good agent.
Coming in at number 9, a vampire coffin.
A vampire coffin? Oh, come on, that's not just absurd, it's what I call intelligently insulting.
As far as creepy looking things go, I have to say this is not one of the scariest looking on the list.
Yeah, more Halloween store clearance bean than ancient cursed relic.
But of course, things are not always what they appear. This coffin found at the Warrens Museum is not just called the Vampire Coffin because of the slightly goofy looking Count Dracula face on the top.
Goofy? That thing looks like it came from a primary school paper mache contest.
But because it was allegedly actually used by a modern day vampire.
Ah yes, the elusive modern day vampire, known for blending into society except when they leave their custom themed IKEA coffin lying around.
I will say that the details surrounding this are rather few. There is no file stating how modern this modern vampire was or how it came to be in their possession.
Translation: we made up a spooky backstory but didn't bother to write it down. Ghosts are scary, but paperwork terrifying.
But I mean, it's definitely very intriguing. My only question is, where is this so-called vampire now?
Hopefully in a better movie?
Blah, blah, blah. I don't say blah, blah, blah.
And of course, a creepy music box. There must always be a creepy music box. And what's so special about this one? Well, apparently it's got a demon inside, because the Warrens never met an household item they couldn't accuse of murder.
In the film version of the story, the youngest child of the family, April, finds an antique music box in the house and uses it to communicate with the spirit of a young boy named Rory, who was supposedly killed by his mother, Bathsheba, in the 1800s. Now, of course, there are definitely larger things at play throughout the film, but at the end of it, viewers see Ed place the haunted music box inside of the room of artifacts, where it suddenly opens and begins to play its tinny music. Now, in real life, it didn't quite happen like that.
Translation: in real life nothing happened, but hey, don't let that stop the legend.
But the real music box is safely tucked away in the Warrens Museum.
Safely tucked away. You know, just in case the demon inside decides to waltz out mid-afternoon and start humming creepy tunes around the block.
Going through the window, by the window, that's where I'll be.
However, legend has it that while it really does contain an evil spirit, it was not properly contained, and so some believe the demon could escape at any moment.
Ah, yes, the ever dangerous partially contained demon. It's like Tupperware for evil. You think it's sealed, but then your leftovers leak all over the fridge. Truth of the matter is, there is no credible evidence, zero, that this music box is haunted, cursed, or home to anything other than dust. Outside of the Conjuring storyline, it's basically just a slightly creepy antique with a great PR team.
Coming in at number 7, Tombstones. When it comes to items involved in a satanic ritual, I am sure that the Warrens managed to corner that market. I mean, are there other haunted museums? Absolutely.
Yeah, like Zach Douchebaggins' Museum of Stupid Special Effects. Very legit. So they claim these tombstones belong to young victims and were used in dark rituals. Great headline. Any paperwork? Death certificates? Police reports? No? Shocking. Truth be told, this reads like theoretical storytelling dressed up as archaeology. Most likely old headstone, local lore, and very persuasive display case. In plain English, spooky story, no verifiable evidence.
Coming in at number 6, a brick. It's not all Hollywood-based sensations inside the museum. In fact, one of their most prized and feared possessions.
Oh wow, a brick. because nothing says spooky like an ordinary chunk of baked clay. I'm sure it's the ghost of construction past.
This brick in particular was from the Borley Rectory, a now famous building that was demolished in 1944 after it was badly damaged in a fire.
The Borley Rectory, famous for ghost sightings, floating bricks, and apparently also for the world's most terrifying masonry.
Allegedly, the night of the fire, there were over 2,000 reports of paranormal activity, including floating bricks thought to have been possessed by a poltergeist.
Floating bricks? Finally, the poltergeist's secret weapon. I always thought ghosts preferred to throw vases or doors, but maybe they're just big fans of home improvement.
So, if rumors are true, that would make this brick probably the most terrifying brick ever.
Terrifying brick? Scary enough to give the house a serious case of indigestion. What's next on the list? Pearls! Interesting. And what do they do?
Notoriously one of the most dangerous items found inside the museum, the Pearls of Death is a cursed necklace said to do exactly as the name suggests. Allegedly, anyone who dares place them around their neck will be choked and suffocated to death.
Ah yes, the ultimate accessory for your doom look. Move over, Black Diamonds, there is a new killer necklace in town. Perfect for those who wants to literally die trying to be fashionable. Trend alert, fatal chic is in. My big question, is this like Frodo and the One Ring slowly bending your will? Or does it just wait silently until some poor soul slips it on and boom, instant strangulation? Either way, I'm definitely not volunteering as a tribute. And let's see the next three objects here. A mirror? Well, a spooky mirror is another classic trope in the mumbo-jumbo world of haunted stuff. Then, a shadow doll? A shadow doll? For real? And a satanic idol, of course, because for the Warrens it was all about religion. Psst, easy to control your customer base when you play with their beliefs.
Brother, testify!
So, this mirror belonged to some guy named Steven Zellner who supposedly got in way over his head with witchcraft, and the Warrens had to come save the day.
Legend has it that Stephen practiced a kind of witchcraft known as catoprotromancy.
This sounds like something someone invented after watching too many fantasy shows. And guess what? There is no record of this Zellner guy outside their stories.
Ed and Lorraine. Upon their arrival at Stephen's home, they immediately knew Stephen was in grave trouble. And so to keep him safe, they performed a reverse incantation spell to seal up all the spirits back inside the mirror from which they had been conjured.
Bollocks.
Don't get too comfortable. Despite the spell they cast, Ed and Lorraine still claim to have experienced many terrifying moments with the spirits they angered from trapping inside this mirror. And who knows what could bring them back out.
Plus, spirits still active after a sealing spell. Classic paranormal sales pitch. Now the shadow doll, made from bones and pure evil, or so they say. Look, if I had a doll that scratched me every night and unalived anyone who snapped a pic, I wouldn't just ditch it. It'd be on a paranormal survival show, but no proof beyond the Warrens' notebooks. Sounds more like Halloween proper with a really bad Yelp review.
As the story goes, in 1991, a hunter was walking through the woods on the lookout for deer when he began to feel an overwhelming sense of paranoia, like he was being watched or something. At that very moment, he turned around to see this creepy doll leaned up against a tree, staring at him, and he could have sworn that it appeared out of nowhere. Immediately, the hunter knew he should not be here.
And finally, the satanic idol's story. A hunter in the woods meets a silent, creepy priest, finds a spooky doll, and then Lorraine allegedly levitates and spends days in hospital. Sounds like script for a B-movie, no outside medical records, no witnesses, just a Warren's dramatic recount. And of course, religion is right there to add extra fear points. Gotta keep those donations coming. And last but definitely not least, Annabelle. You didn't really think I'd make a list about the Warren Museums and not mention their superstar haunted doll, did you? So here's the story. Some nursing student gets a doll, creepy messages appear, a medium says it's possessed by a little girl named Annabelle Higgins. Spoiler alert, that's a demon's classic trick. Then Annabelle strangles a guy out of nowhere. Scary, right? Except the Warrens swooped in, discredit the medium, and declare it demon-possessed. And despite being locked up tight, this doll is so terrifying that a guy mocked it at the museum and died days later on his motorbike. Sure, because if you're gonna fake a haunting, you better add some biker death for extra street cred. Plus, recently the doll went on a live tour. Truth is, Annabelle's story has been debunked more times that I've lost my keys. Turns out, Ed and Loren basically ripped it off a Twilight Zone episode, dressed it up in a demon costume and sold it as real. So yeah, if you're scared of possessed dolls, maybe watch less horror reruns and more reality. Alright, now let's get serious for a moment. What do I actually think about all this Warren Museum business? Here's the deal. Unfortunately, people often believe in things without really digging into the backstory. We know the Warrens well. We have seen firsthand how their so-called exorcism and stories are often just that. Stories. There are testimonies from authors of their own books admitting many of these cases hide behind family traumas, addiction issues, abuse, and other serious struggles. The Warrens, they just kept telling them, make it spookier, make it more dramatic, and we have plenty of evidence to back that up. What's truly bizarre is that even with all the proof debunking the Warrens, there are still people commenting on videos like this, insisting that the museum is actually contain real demonic artifacts. Look, I get it. Ghost stories are fun, but facts matter. And believing without questioning? That's how myth turned into legends, and legends into full-blown cults of nonsense. And on that note, I conclude. That's all I have got for you folks. As always, digest well this load of nonsense, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay always awesome the way you are. And I see you all the next one. Ciao!